Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making this beautiful self-love tumbler with this heart handle. I actually had this tumbler already made. This is a true 32-ounce tumbler from Tipsy Magnolia. I went ahead and sprinkled various glitters from Peachy olive glitters on them. And I just kind of did the epoxy method with that. This tutorial is basically if you already have a tumbler and you want to add a handle to it, this is how you can do it. Ultimately, you would normally start fresh, but since I already had this tumbler made, I am now going to add this beautiful handle. Okay, so I am going ahead and starting with some UV resin. This is some UV resin I just picked up from Michael's, but I do recommend getting a brand that you trust. Okay, I do not particularly care for this brand. It doesn't dry hard, but for this particular tutorial I am sealing this with a fast setting resin anyway, so I'm just using the UV resin as the glue to apply my glitter. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and continue to add it all the way around everywhere I can, all the nooks and crannies. You can use a paintbrush for this if you choose to, but I'm just using my gloved finger, and then I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle the glitter onto this handle. One of the most challenging parts was trying to match up the glitters on the cup. So I just kind of continue to take some different whites and sprinkle them onto this handle. Okay, so normally you would have your stainless steel tumbler, you got your handle, you would go ahead and attach your handle, okay, and then you would base spray paint your cup, however you prep your tumbler, and then you would go ahead and add your glitter. If you're doing the epoxy method, you would just go ahead and do your handle and your cup all in one seamless, time. But for this tutorial, I had this cup and I didn't want to, just leave it. So I was like, let me add this pretty handle to it. Okay, so I am doing this separately. Okay, I want to kind of reiterate that to you guys so you're not thinking that's how you do it. And so I'm just adding my glitter all over to this handle. I'm really trying to make sure that I get all of the glitter where it needs to be. Sometimes white on white glitter can be a little difficult to see. And then once I do that, I'm going to, again, put it under my UV light and I'm going to let it cure. All right. You don't need to make sure it's completely, rock hard. Again, we're going to be sealing all of this in once we add it to the tumbler. Okay, but you do want to make sure that it is good to go. So here is a process called doming. So basically you're sealing in the glitter. You see I kind of am adding a thin layer of UV resin just to seal it in, but then I'm kind of going back and I'm leaving that UV resin right on top. Okay, and I'm not really pressing it in, I'm kind of just adding it to the handle so that it creates a nice glossy finish and it kind of gives it a good seal. I guess that's the best way I can kind of explain it. I am going over with my fingers the edge just because I want to make sure that it doesn't drip over, but then I'm going to put it under my light and I'm going to let that cure. I'm going to repeat that process for the back side of the handle as well as underneath the handle. Okay, and I'm not using a lot of UV resin. As you can see, it wasn't like dripping off of the handle, but I'm using enough that it sealed this glitter in and I don't have to worry about it falling off afterwards. Okay, and you just again want to repeat that process until it is complete, and then you're going to be ready to add it to your tumbler. Okay, so everybody has their staple go-to products that they love using for making glitter tumblers or whatever. I love using nail cutters or cuticle cutters for my projects. I feel like it really helps me. They're, you know, easy to grab, and I can use them to snip away any excess epoxy. And then also I want to tell you guys, 'cause I'm not sure if I filmed this part, but you can go ahead and use a nail file to get underneath your handle really well. If, like, you know how we have the sanding blocks and we use that on our tumblers, we have the big sanders. Sometimes for the handles you're like, how am I supposed to get in there? Use a nail file, a little emery board. You can get in the nooks and crannies very well to kind of sand and smooth out any parts that need to be smoothed, okay? But then again, like I said, all I'm doing is curing it underneath, and then I'm going to be ready to go ahead and add this to the tumbler. Okay, so I have sanded this tumbler. I'm sorry, I've sanded the handle, okay, and I am now going to, I'm looking at the best spot where I like the glitter look, and I'm going to now add the handle right there. I'm using hot glue because why not? It's quick. I just need it on here temporarily while I go ahead and add the regular epoxy. I will say, like I said in my previous tutorial, you do want to stand your tumbler up. If you hold your tumbler and place your handle on there, it will be crooked. So stand it up onto your desk, your table, and you'll get a nice fit, okay? And so once you have it like you want it, you are going to now have to blend the handle in with the cup. And to do this, I'm going to take a little bit of UV resin and a little bit more glitter, and I am basically going to add it to that spot where I had that hot glue. I really believe that regardless of whatever adhesive you use to adhere your handle, you're going to need to do this because of the cut of the handle and the tumbler. There still may be a gap, okay? So you can choose to use whatever you know, adhesive you want, but still I would suggest to do this process just so you can have a nice blend, and it literally will look like it's made onto the cup, if that makes sense, okay? And I just mixed a little bit of UV resin and a little bit of my glitter, and I am now going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to add just a tiny bit of this mixture right where the handle meets the cup. All right, I'm gonna kind of brush that up and blend it into the handle. Okay, I'm not needing to get it on the cup, I just need to blend it into the handle. I'm gonna kind of repeat that process anywhere I see a gap. I'm gonna go ahead and fill that gap in with UV resin and glitter, okay? And then I'm going to sand with my emery board or nail file, whatever you call it. I'm just going to sand, and that's just because I want to make sure that when I do add my layer of epoxy, everything is seamless and I don't have to do it again, okay? But that is pretty much all I did to get this beautiful heart handle to look like it was made onto the cup. I think I did a great job because you really can't tell where the handle starts and the cup, you know, starts. And so this is a little hack for you. I did this as well on the flower handle tutorial, and I would say again, whatever adhesive you use, if you find that you have a gap between your handle and your cup, because a lot of cups are curved, these handle ends are flat. So if you find you have a gap, just take a little bit of UV resin, take a little bit of glitter, and then just fill in the gap, okay? And you'll be able to give yourself a nice seamless blend. Okay, so once you are finished adding all of your UV resin on all of the spots, you want to go ahead and get your sanding block, and you need to buff it out, okay? This is your final chance to make sure that all of it is good before you epoxy your cup, okay? And for the handles, guys, regardless of the glue you use, I recommend 2 layers of epoxy for a strong hold, okay? We don't want your handle coming off of your cup, so go ahead and just do 2 layers of epoxy to make sure that it is nice and secure, all right? And for the inside of this, remember you can use an emery board, a nail file to get all in the nooks and crannies. And for this decal, this is a UVDTF. They are all of the, you know, what is it, the rave, the craze right now in the community. And I really believe it's because it's taken the hard part out of weeding. You know, you can do colors, you can do layer colors, and you don't have to weed anything. It's like really takes a lot of our stress levels out. You know, but this is a self-love positive affirmation decal. Her name is Avanti, and her business name is Avanti's Creations, or Vantis Creations. I've been calling her Vantis, but I was like, oh, your name was Avanti. But Vantis Creations on Etsy, and she sells UVDTFs as well as some other cool things for crafters, okay? And I'm gonna take this and I'm just separating this decal because I want a sporadic placement. I actually sold this tumbler today. So thankful for you, Frederica, if you're watching this tumbler tutorial. And I am, you know, very proud of the way this came out. It's beautiful. Even though it looks beautiful on camera, I promise you guys, this is so much more beautiful in person. And I'm so thankful that she is the one to get it. This decal again has a lot of positive, you know, affirmations and everything, and I would highly suggest you know, giving this to somebody that may need some gentle reminders of self-love, okay? So One of the things about the handles, I will say, think about if your person is right or left-handed. Go ahead and ask your customer what they preferred on the right or left side. And I say that because if they're right-handed, you know, you may want to place your decal, you know, in a different location. Okay. Either way, what you're gonna do is, these are like peel and stick and then peel off again. All right. You're gonna rub, you know, your decal onto your tumbler and then peel off the transfer. So thankful for these. They are one of the best things that has come into the community. And I'm just going to sporadically place these onto the tumbler, guys. That was kind of the hardest part of this, is kind of figuring out where I wanted them, what looked good where, what spot needed it, or, you know, where it was too bare. But other than that, that is really it. Okay. I'm going to let you guys watch this and then I will come back when I'm done. Okay, so no, I take it back. The hardest part of this tutorial sometimes was, you know, peeling the, you know, backing off of this decal. I tell you what, if you don't cut the decals, it's not a big deal because you're just one peel. But if you cut them, it can be a little challenging. I'm not gonna even lie to you. Okay, so placement, trying to figure out where you want it, was a little challenging, and then, you know, peeling the backing off was challenging. But overall, guys, this came out to be such a beautiful tumbler. It has so many you know, positive things, you know, going on in here for you, you know, or your customer to read. You see, I got my little tool out. I was like, okay, bump this. But I will say that we all need these. We all need to have these reminders. And I love that I did cut the decal, because no matter where you turn and look on this tumbler, you're reminded of something that you need to know, you know? And so I guess don't be afraid to cut the decal. Some of these were very close, so I got my small scissors and I went ahead and cut as close as I could without actually cutting the decal. These UVDTF prints are usually made to not, you know, you don't have to seal them in. They can be placed on glass, you know, your Libby jars, your Libby can jars, whatever. But they're made to withstand the elements, okay? With the kind of ink and the way it's printed. I don't have a printer, but that's what I understand. However, being that I added my handle on here and I have to epoxy it anyway, I am going to be sealing this in, okay? I also like an extra layer of protection, but you know, per the instructions on the UVDTF prints, you do not need to add an extra layer, okay, of sealants, okay? But I continue to place these decals all around here, and you know, even when I posted the pictures and did the video on social media, as I was holding the cup, I was like, dang, it still is not showing how beautiful this is. But you know, hopefully you guys get a glimpse of this glitter. I did a lot of different whites, and I just was sprinkling it on like I was in the kitchen cooking, and I was adding seasoning. But you know, it came out really, really pretty, really, really beautiful, and I feel like it has a little bit of a retro you know, vibe with the colors and everything. And I decided to place this last heart on the bottom of the tumbler, just because I like doing that sometimes. You know, when you're holding your cup up to sip, you have a beautiful heart or something on the bottom. But that is it. Look how beautiful that looks. You see, you can't tell where the tumbler starts and where the handle starts. It came out so beautiful. I'm so happy with this, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I thank you guys so much for watching. Please share and like and comment. Get the word out. If you're interested in purchasing some handles, you can